Are you committed to yourself? Are you committed to your dreams? Or are you committed to just being stuck and stagnant? You're listening to the WELLthy Woman podcast, and I am your host and wealthy mentor, Dr. Michelle. My mission is to empower conscientious women entrepreneurs to create a life full of abundance, purpose, health, wealth, and joy. In this podcast, you'll learn how to elevate your health, lifestyle, and surroundings so you can tap into your power, show up more confidently, and focus on what really matters. Sharing your gifts, better serving your clients, and showing up even more for the people you love. This is today's businesswoman, the WELLthy Woman. Hey there, and welcome back to another episode of the WELLthy Woman podcast. I am your host, Michelle, and for today's episode, I did something a little bit different. I had a general idea of what I wanted to talk about, but I wasn't entirely sure how to bring it to you or deliver it to you. So I decided to pull a tarot card. So in saying that, I bet there's, two camps of women listening. Some of you probably grabbed your phone to skip to the next episode in your queue, while some of you probably leaned in a bit and perked up a bit. So for those of you whose ears kind of perked up, I picked the Ace of Wands. Now, I'm basically a complete novice when it comes to tarot, honestly. So I'll read to you what this card represents from the book that I have. So it stands for potential, ambition, and new beginnings. So from the book I have, which is Tarot Notes from the Pagan Otherworld, which has some of the most beautiful tarot art I've ever seen, by the way, it says about the Ace of Wands, it says, "In an endless expanse of blue sky, a hand bursts forth from a cloud holding a branch. Being has arrived. Trembling with newness and excitement, the first leaves of knowledge float down from the sky to the river below, their voices merging in the waters to form a new language, the language of possibility, opportunity, and hope. That branch is ours to take. That river our journeys start. Potential is the kingdom of all beginnings." So, what I really wanted to talk to you about today has to do with releasing excess weight and what to do when everything you used to do is no longer working. So, if you follow me on Facebook or Instagram, you already know that I'm at the tail end of a 12-part live video series all about body positivity and weight loss. So if you want to catch any of these replays, just head to my Facebook page at wealthywoman.co. Now, the reason I created this 12-part series and a few podcast episodes that you might have heard already around this topic is because we're starting another round of your Metabolic Reset in April, and enrollment closes on March 21st. If this piques your interest at all, definitely stick around till the end of this episode to hear about Pamela's experience in the program. She joined us for the January round this year and had amazing results, even though she thought nothing would work. All right, so let's keep this Ace of Wands in mind as we chat about the topic of feeling defeated and hopeless and really resigned to never being able to release that excess weight, because this card represents a new journey, and that's exactly what your Metabolic Reset is. Now, I want to chat about some of the most common reasons why women are stuck, not taking action with their health, and this could be related to weight or just their health in general. That way, we can get it all out there, out in the open, and confidently take action. So, let's just dive into the juicy bits. The number one reason why I hear women being stuck and stagnant in their weight loss efforts is because they think it's too expensive to either eat healthier, or they're not willing to invest in a program with the support and guidance they actually need. So, first off, eating healthy is saving you money in the long run, because You're likely going to avoid super costly medications, pharmaceuticals, and unnecessary surgeries since your body will be so much more resilient. That being said, women going through your metabolic reset actually report spending significantly less money than usual at the grocery store during the program. Second, freaking out about investing in your health is a total waste of time, like seriously, because when you take care of your health, you're able to show up better for your business and make more money, like period. Money is something that can be created, restored, and replenished. The same cannot be said about your time, right? Also, not to mention when you're feeling better, more confident, and energized, you can show up more fully for the people you love, right? So freaking out about investing in your health doesn't change where you're at and where you need support. That fear is always going to exist, and you won't be moved into action if you are clinging on to that, right? The key is moving through your fear, breaking that pattern you've been comfortable in, because money's a tool, and where you spend it is going to speak volumes about what you're committed to in your life. Are you committed to yourself? Are you committed to your dreams? Or are you committed to just being stuck and stagnant? It's all about perspective. Are you empowered in your choice, or are you acting out of fear? I know this is like a little intense and probably not where you thought this episode was going to go. So if this like triggered you, I'm actually glad, because that means you needed to hear it. All right. So the second thing I hear a lot is that I'm just too busy. But the fact is, most of us lead busy lives. We're juggling work, family, commitments, and hopefully some level of a social life, right? At the end of this episode, I'm actually going to be sharing that testimonial with you from Pamela, who is actually my sister. So any of you who are curious about that, she has an intensely chaotic schedule, and she runs this large business. She's also a single mom to 2 teenage boys. So she thought she wouldn't have time, but she was shocked at how easy the program was. So definitely stay tuned for that. All right, so during your metabolic reset, I give you all the tools, the tips, the resources you need to make the process as streamlined as possible, including shopping lists, meal batching guidelines, simple recipes, and a ton more. On top of that, since we'll be addressing your body from a holistic perspective and giving your body real food, you're going to feel more satisfied, more energetic, and more focused during your day. So your time's actually going to be spent way more efficiently. Pretty cool, right? So the third thing I hear a lot is that it's just my genetics. I was born with a slow metabolism. And honestly, I legit love this topic, because as someone who actually has several genetic variants related to obesity, yes, you heard me right, obesity, I'm here to tell you that you can 100% lose weight and keep it off. I've had my functional genomics tested through a company called Nutrients, and when you look at my pathways and my genetic clusters, I have genes that make it super easy for me to overeat because my body doesn't effectively communicate to me to tell me when it's full. I have genes that increase my desire or urge for snacking because I get more frequent hunger signals. I have genes that create a lower resting metabolic rate. I have genes that increase my risk for diabetes and insulin resistance because my insulin secretion's all wonky. And I have genes that make my body turn starches into fat whenever I eat them. So I actually just did an entire live video about this specific topic. It's part 11 of my body positivity and weight loss series. So if this particular topic resonates with you, definitely catch that replay on my Facebook page at WELLthyWoman.co. So that being said, blaming something like your weight on your genetics is seriously just a way for you to dismiss all responsibility towards it. Like, I can say that confidently because I'm there. Like, I get it. Like, I have those genes, right? It's like looking at your weight in that way is completely disempowering, right? I mean, the fact is 90% of our genes are dictated by our environment, physically, chemically, mentally, emotionally. I loved putting together part 11 of that series, so definitely check that out if you're like, tell me more. All right, so next one. I have tried everything. I've been eating healthy, I've been working out and doing all the things, but nothing's working for me. Or nothing that used to works for me now, right? Hello, defeatist attitude, right? Of course things aren't going to work for you when you approach things like that. I'm sure you've heard, if you've been listening to my podcast, law of attraction, magnetism, manifestation. This is bringing in some of the woo, kind of, but the woo is really, really important. Our mindset is huge. So my guess, if you're feeling this, is that your approach, whether it was, quote, eating healthy, exercising, or even, dabbling in things like paleo, keto, Whole30, or whatever, I bet you were lacking support from a healthcare professional and a community, right? These are so overlooked and make all the difference. When we start creating new habits and new mindsets, it's not a smooth ride the whole time, right? So if you don't have support and you start to feel weak, or your motivation starts to kind of lack a little bit, or you're starting to lose sight of your why, then you need to make sure you have support. You don't have to do everything on your own, okay? Every single woman who's gone through your metabolic reset tells me how their success was really impacted on their ability to access me and the constant support from the group. Seriously, if you've never experienced that kind of support, it's remarkable. Okay. All right. So next. So something else I hear, I'm too old, I've had kids, or my metabolism is just slow. Now, a lot of women think that they're unable to release excess weight because they have a sluggish metabolism. However, despite what you may believe, your metabolic rate is not set in stone. Seriously. That's the basis of your metabolic reset. We literally establish a new metabolic set point for your body, and we do it in this very strategic but straightforward way. And a lot of it has to do with stress. If your body doesn't feel safe and nourished, it won't release excess weight and it won't establish that new metabolic set point. So we go over this extensively in the program. And as long as you follow the guidelines, you will succeed. All right, next, let's talk about the procrastination monster. So how many of you listening are like, yeah, I'd really like to start, but I think I'll wait till the next round. That's cool and all, but you could be 20 to 30 pounds lighter by mid-May of this year. Think about that for a second. Think about that and how that would affect your day-to-day life. Because the next round of the program doesn't start till July. Okay? The procrastination monster is huge because it keeps us stuck and stagnant. A lot of times, I actually see this and the money mindset blocks teaming up, right? Like I hear people say, I'll have to revisit this in a few months so I can save money and it'll just be a better time. But if you're an entrepreneur, if you're at all in this field or this sphere, then you know that taking action is the only way anything gets done. Taking that leap before you feel ready for it. If you keep waiting around for every single thing to be in place, you will never move forward because something always comes up, always. There's no perfect time, right? And speaking of that, maybe you're thinking that there's going to be a certain event or a birthday or a holiday or a conference coming up that's going to interfere with your efforts. And honestly, this is the same thing. There's always going to be something. I had women in this last group who were celebrating Valentine's Day and their birthday and their kid's 18th birthday. And I went to a conference in LA and we all stuck with the program. Like, no big deal. It is possible. It's really a matter of checking in with yourself and what excuses or limiting beliefs are popping up for you. All right. So how's that landing? How's that feeling? Hopefully we broke through some walls, or at least you're kind of looking at things from a slightly different perspective, maybe? If so, then I'm assuming you want to learn a little bit more about your metabolic reset. So this program is delivered over 10 weeks with real food, real support, real community, and real results, so you can reallocate energy to boost your metabolism, your life, and your business. And we do it without lab testing, without exercise, without fad diets, without shakes, without boxed foods, without gimmicks, without hunger, and without cravings. No joke. This program is amazing and transformational. I literally cannot speak more highly about it. All right. So before we wrap for the week, I promised I would share Pamela's experience with your metabolic reset. So here it is.
Nothing that used to work works for me anymore. Nothing. Having these conversations with myself over and over again. How am I going to lose this weight? How am I going to look in the mirror and love what I see again? Is it even possible? Because I had been trying for so long with no success. Also, just not thinking that I would have the discipline with my hectic schedule, being a single mom to 2 teenage boys. I thought for sure, I'm going to be the one that takes the longest. I'm going to be the one that's going to be the challenge. I'm going to be the one where it is going to take a while, or I'm going to be the one that just doesn't succeed, period. So when after 3 days, 4 days, the weight was consistently coming off every single day, that was mind-blowing to me. That was amazing. I'm happy to say now I'm down 22 pounds. I feel healthier. One thing that I've been suffering from is chronic heartburn. I'm not suffering from heartburn at all anymore, and I was taking medication daily, and I'm not anymore. It wasn't long. It was under a week, maybe just 4 or 5 days, and unsolicited, people were coming up to me saying that my skin looked great, that it looked like it was glowing. And one thing, the biggest thing that I can say to anybody thinking about trying this plan is that it was so easy. I was never hungry, and the weight started coming off more quickly than I ever could have imagined. Here I am, 7 weeks later, 22 pounds less than what I was, and I don't feel like it was difficult at all. I can't stress enough how important the group was to me, just to read everybody's posts, the triumphs, the tribulations, the food pictures. That was a big thing for me too. I never used to cook. I never used to get creative with meals. Not only was I feeding myself better, but I was feeding my family better. The camaraderie of the women, I just felt like we were a team trying to achieve the same goal. Her accessibility, her availability to us at all times. She was such an educator. There were so many things going on with my body that I didn't understand. Just talking to her throughout everything, I think was really pivotal in helping me succeed. Everything that I've learned from this plan are things that I'm going to incorporate into my life moving forward forever, because I know how it makes me feel. I will say that I can see my feet in the shower now, which is something that I haven't experienced in quite a long time. So that's pretty great. It was a no-brainer for me to just kind of on board, and so glad I did.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing your experience. For those of you who don't know, Pamela is my sister, and she was a major inspiration for me in creating your metabolic reset. So it means the world to me to hear about her success. If you found this episode helpful, please share it with someone you love. Also, enrollment for your metabolic reset completely closes on March 21st. So if you've been on the fence, now is the time to enroll. There are only 19 spots left, and I would love for you to be one of them. You can learn more and schedule a brief complimentary chat with me to see if it's a good fit at wellthywoman.co/YMR. That's wellthywoman.co, WELLthywoman.co/YMR. So tune in next week for more awesome and actionable info. I will chat with you then. All right, ladies, thank you for listening to another transformational episode. If you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? You know my mission is to help inspire and empower women to share their gifts, better serve their clients, and show up even more for the people they love. So if you enjoyed this episode, leave an awesome review so more women can find us and join us in creating a life of wealth.